that is the connecting piece. But
We've all heard it before. Black don't crack. But what it can do is look ashy and dull and just as horrible and wretched. But not with Go Beautiful. Shop today. GoBeautiful.com. That's Go Beautiful with 2 L's.com with luxurious vegan skincare. No sulfates, no parabens, no carcinogens, and eco-friendly. Get beautiful, honey.
Thank you for tuning in to Betsy's Building Brands podcast. If you're interested in being a guest or having your business advertised on our podcast, please send an email to podcastmanager@bestiesinbiz.com. After the show, don't forget to head over to Facebook and Instagram to subscribe to our page, Besties Building Brands.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of the Besties Building Brands podcast. I'm so excited. We have a special guest, Miss Tiffany, on the show with us today. She is a womb healer. She is a certified vaginal steamer. She's a doula. She's just awesome, and I can't wait to get into the conversation with her. But before we let her introduce herself to you guys so you can see how awesome she is, I do want to play our game so we can have a little bit of fun before we get started. So, are you ready for this or that? Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Are you ready? Okay. All right. So remember, just say one answer. You can't think about it. And you have to say the right answer or else we'll have to end the show. It's like, okay, ready? Godfather or Star Wars?
Godfather.
New clothes or new phone?
New clothes.
New phone.
iPhone or Android?
Android.
Okay, iPhone, yes, finally. I've been losing the last couple weeks.
Is this what we're in the show? Because it's all Android.
No, that's not the question. Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Invisibility or super strength?
Invisibility.
Invisibility.
What about bath or shower?
Shower.
Ariel or Jasmine?
Jasmine.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Cosby Show or Different World?
Different world.
Different world.
Okay, so are you ready for the most important question of the night? Rajay, you can't even answer this question, okay?
Got the best answer.
It's Fresh Prince or Martin?
Fresh
Prince. Thanks, Tiffany. Yes.
Wow, Tiffany, you really disappointed me on that one, but it's okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and how you got started.
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Tiffany Barrett, and I am the co-owner of Magic V Steam brand. We launched in January of 2020 and quickly became the number one seller of vaginal steam seeds on Amazon, and we're creeping up on over 20,000 users. And I apologize, y'all. I apologize for the racket in the background, but we ain't even gonna go into why that's happening. But we have over 20,000 units sold from our website, and it's just a blessing. It's a blessing. I couldn't have asked for a better year to launch. 2020 was bad for a lot of people, but I think because women were home and women were more conscious of being healthful and their healing, it was the best time for us to bring the product to market. My mom is Ethiopian, and I grew up in a steaming culture. So for me, when I started to see vaginal steaming come into the States and I started seeing it misrepresented a lot, I was like, what is going on? Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, this is not how it's done. This is not what we do. And again, I apologize, y'all, for the racket.
So you said that it's not how it's done. What do you do that's different than what we're seeing on the market from everybody else in their V steam?
Well, number one of the things that you see is a lot of people steaming from plastic basins, which is really, I'm not going to say it's not how it's done. It's just, it's not the safest way to do it. So if you're going to bring a product to market and you're going to ask women to invest in something, you want to bring them the right way to do it. Right now, I mean, it, because I've seen women steam from, you know, those 5-gallon paint buckets. I've seen women, steam from those, and that's because that's all that they have. But if I'm going to make an investment in a product, I want to make an investment in a product that's going to teach me the modality the proper way. So you should be steaming from a vessel that you can't leach any of the products or any of the chemicals that were used to manufacture that vessel. You can't leach any of the chemicals from it. And we know that water, when it's heated, leaches the chemicals from plastic. It's just what it is. They tell us to not drink, water from water bottles that have been sitting in the sun. And so when I started seeing people using plastic sitz baths to sell as vaginal steam seats, I was like, no, that is not how we do that. You're supposed to steam from something glass, clay, ceramic, or stainless steel, because you don't absorb any of the contents of the container, and it doesn't contaminate your herbs. When you think about the methodology and the biochemistry that comes behind vaginal steaming, the mucous membranes in your vulva and vaginal area are very, very permeable. So if you're steaming and getting the herbs in your vagina, you're steaming and getting the chemicals from the plastic in your vagina, you're steaming and getting the whatever chemicals you use to clean that toilet in your vagina. All of that is going up in there, sis. So when I was seeing that, it was heartbreaking. And it was upsetting because I was getting a lot of pushback, like from women in a really nasty way. And the other thing, on the other side, on the other spectrum, what I was seeing was women who were not from cultures of color, cultures where steaming did not originate, and they were appropriating the practice and making it inaccessible. They were doing it the right way. They were using the right products and the right containers, but they were making it inaccessible. So it's like, how is someone going to spend $300 and $400 to buy, a steaming kit when they know nothing about it, and then they have to invest in education? Now you're going close to $1,000, and everyone just doesn't have that as disposable income. So I tried to come into the market at the middle. I will educate my audience, and the education will be free, and I'll create a product that isn't so expensive that everyone can't reach it, but it's also correct. It's made correctly, it's safe to use, and more women can get exposed to the practice without breaking their banking budget.
And I've been seeing like a lot of pushback from doctors in regards to vaginal steaming and the detox pearls that people are using.
Yes.
And they're saying that when you steam, or if you use the pearls and you have like this discharge, and they're telling you that your womb is being cleaned, and this is like leftover from whatever, whether it be sexual experiences or trauma that you've had, that's actually shows that your vagina has been traumatized. Is that true or not? Do you use the pearls as well, or is it just the steaming?
We do not subscribe to the yoni pearl. We don't subscribe to that modality at all. And I tell women some of the same things. And people prey on us not knowing about our bodies, right? So we get told about our mucus plug, like, oh, you have your mucus plug when we're pregnant. And it's like, okay, your mucus plug is going to come out right before you're ready to have the baby. But we have a mucus plug every month. Our mucus plug builds up and gradually deteriorates every single month. So when women are using those yoni pearls and shoving them up in their vagina and leaving them there for 3 days, they just pulling out their vaginal mucus, their cervical mucus that they need to protect them. It protects you from infection at certain times of the month. It protects you from getting pregnant when you shouldn't be. You know, that egg has to get to a certain point in the fallopian tube where it is safe to be fertilized. If it gets fertilized too soon or too late or in anywhere in the time where it shouldn't be, it can cause a tubal pregnancy. So our body is wondrous. It knows how to do what it needs to do. Sometimes it just needs some support, right? And vaginal steaming is a gentle support. Yoni pearls are invasive. You have to penetrate your vagina with the pearls, and you have to leave them in there for 72 hours. Your vagina does not need that level of intrusion in order to cleanse itself, because it's not really a cleansing thing. It's just a support. Because our monthly cleanse, that, you know, they say the vagina cleanses itself. Yes, it does. It does cleanse itself. But what is that monthly cleanse? It's our period. But if our period isn't being supported properly, if our uterus isn't being supported properly, sometimes that cleanse doesn't happen the way that it should happen. It doesn't happen effectively. And we have some leftover menses, we have leftover cervical mucus, we have and I mean, people say, you know, you can have leftover semen and things like that. And yes, you can, but it's to a certain point, right? It's only to a certain point, because cervical mucus will keep semen and sperm in your cervix cavity for up to 7 days. It can keep it alive in there up to 7 days. But really, after that time, it will get excreted anytime that, when your cervix starts to open, approaching your menstrual, the days of your period. Mm-hmm. But we don't get taught all these specifics in there. But if you know these specifics and you have a common knowledge of how our body works, when someone says something like that to you, or they show you, and everybody's results from their yoni pearls is this white gelatinous, you know, buildup, it's like, okay, well, what is that? If everybody is having that, you just gotta kind of think like, maybe it's not what we say it is. And I'm not saying that they don't have any type of purpose, because I had a stillbirth in 2012, and my doctor was very natural, and you know, my child was still in the womb and I wasn't going into labor. And the way that they made me go into labor naturally was to pack my cervix with seaweed and herbs, right? And that worked. And for that, so there is a purpose sometimes, because we had to leave them in overnight. We had to leave them in 24 hours. And then the next day I started to contract. So there are sometimes, what happens is, a modality is used for something, and then someone sees, oh, okay, it does this. Well, maybe it can do something else. Yes, you can use herbs to evacuate the womb when there is something in there to evacuate, right? If there's nothing in there to evacuate, if there isn't some large thing that needs to be evacuated from the womb, you're probably doing more harm than good.
And so, what's the benefits of the steaming? What does that do?
So the steam, I try to tell women this all the time, the steam is just actually the delivery method. The steam is the delivery method. The herbs are the medicine, and your body is actually doing all of the work. So your body is using the properties of the herbs. So let's say like calendula. Calendula is a cleansing herb, but it's also a moisturizing herb. So if I'm a woman of a certain age, maybe I'm in perimenopause and I suffer from dryness from time to time, I can steam with the calendula. The steam is going to take the properties of the herbs up into my vulva, and those herbal properties are being absorbed into my vulva and helping me stay more lubricated. In the case of other herbs that are more cleansing, when you steam after your period, which is in most countries, people use steaming to aid in the uterine cleanse, which is the period, or to for postpartum care. So if I'm steaming and I'm steaming after my period, I'm going to use cleansing herbs, and I'm going to use herbs that help my uterus contract, so that if I haven't gotten all of the menses that was in there out, it's going to help get the rest of it out. And then, like for myself, if I make our herb blend, it has things to help build the blood, help keep our iron levels up, because our iron levels dip a little bit after during our period. So if I'm steaming after my period, I want to get my iron levels back up. I want to nourish my uterus so that all those blood vessels close up and I don't have any spotting for the next couple of days. And I want to make sure that everything got evacuated, because there's so many things that we do throughout the month that we don't understand causes stagnation in our uterus. Just, like not covering your stomach well can cause stagnation in the uterus. If it's cold outside and there's too much cold air getting in touch with our bodies, that alone can cause stagnation in the uterus. Eating certain foods cause stagnation in the uterus. Our American diet, with like how we don't like, I'm not gonna say everybody, but we're not like encouraged to eat like a lot of soups and like warm breakfast. We're encouraged to eat things like cold cereal and things like that. We don't eat a lot of warming foods, and women, we need those warming foods to keep our body warm, because a cold womb will bring you a lot of problems. So vaginal steaming is a support for all of those things, to keep the whole uterus moving and nourished and working the way that it should all the time.
Okay. So we're going to take a break. We have a business that we want to shout out. And then when we come back, we're going to talk more about just about the person behind the brand. All right. Let's see what we got. All right. One moment, guys.
You know why I like shopping over at W&W Galleria? Because Erin believes that every woman should showcase her style how she sees fit. Now y'all see this? I'm about to do some out and about stuff. This is it, one of her little cashmere field scarves. I like doing head wraps because this morning it's a little brisk out here. Yesterday was a nice little balmy, had me sweating, turning on a ceiling fan type of weather. And today it's a little chilly. So I'm going to take this, my scarf that I got from W&W Galleria, put it on like a wrap. Finish off the look with some earrings. She has earrings. And I need to put on earrings or else I'm going to look like a little boy. They're going to be like, yo, Chris. I'm going to be like, what up, though? But then I put on my earrings and I'm Crystal. Hey, y'all. She has earrings, all the accessories that will complete your outfit. Set it off, pop it off. You can go from the front row at a fashion show or cute little barbecue, right? I got to do some errands this morning, so I'm out here trying to look a little snackable, okay? Put my lip gloss on, because the allergies, dry weather has my lips on crack status, okay? Crack-a-lackin'. And the sun is out, It's a little shiny. Put on my shades. Y'all know I can't see. So I put my shades on over my glasses. Look at that. Look. Pow. How you like me now? Blue and yellow makes green. It's a go, y'all. Go shop. W&W Galleria.
All right, y'all. So make sure you check out Weave and Wigs Galleria.com, and that is from our bestie Erin Jessica. She can also be found on Instagram at Weaves and Wigs Galleria. So we're all about supporting our besties and promoting each other's businesses. So make sure you check her out. And just to get back to the show, Tiffany. So we also talk a little bit about just like how was it for you growing up? I know you said you saw a need for your business, but what did you actually want to be originally growing up? Did you have aspiration of doing something like this, or was there something completely different?
I definitely didn't. Like my grandmother was a womb healer. She was the birther in her village in Ethiopia. And when she came over here, you know, they don't believe in natural medicine. So she would only work in her community with other Ethiopian women and help them, but she wasn't really ever able to, become.
Uh-oh.
I think we lost her for a moment. So while we're waiting for her to reconnect, did you guys know any of that stuff already?
No, I didn't know some of it. Like I knew stuff could be left behind. I didn't know V-steaming worked to where it brings all that stuff out. I thought it was them trying to tighten up down there.
Crystal, you're on mute. You were trying to say something?
Oh.
Crystal was on mute. I couldn't unmute you.
Yeah, I was on mute because there's a lot of background over here. Yeah, I knew all of that because, I was not only raised in the States, but I was also raised in Europe and around a bunch of different cultures. And I knew that the benefits of steaming, especially as a woman, especially after childbirth, especially during your time in a month. So,
I
yeah.
mean, I was shocked. Well, not shocked, but kind of what she was saying about what the Yanni pearls. A lot of people are actually starting to come out and say like, this is trauma. This is not cool. And you know how we are. We jump on what's new. And so I was a little leery. I actually bought some, but I never used them for the simple fact that what she said is invasive. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to
leave something in there that long.
Yeah. Erin said I didn't know any of it. I'm definitely learning so much. Yeah, I feel like that was very informative. I know a lot of women did not know that.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna date myself a little bit. I'm gonna date, not to cut you off, but I'm gonna date myself a little bit. Okay, so y'all know I am the vainglorious 49. When I was a teenager, Madison Gill had a whole line, not just douches, but also the little vaginal inserts to freshen your vagina to get everything out. And so you want to say like 30 years ago, they did that. And there was a lot of complications from that. Women who didn't know they were pregnant were having miscarriages after inserting it. People were having, there was a huge increase of vaginal yeast infections and all type of vaginal infections. So they pulled that off of the market. I distinctly remember that because you know how kids talk. And I said this, all the time, kids talk to kids. Growing up, for the girls who, loosen the booty, loosen the booty, getting you loose, right? And when they thought that they were pregnant, they would go and get the Madison Gill vaginal inserts to make them have a miscarriage. And, that was one of the things that was going around because they knew that there were people who did it, who had miscarriages, not because they wanted to. And that was one of the things, if you were, having unprotected sex and you didn't want to keep it, didn't want your parents to know that you were, out there, bumping and grinding, that's what they went and got. And, and that's for me, when the Yoni pearls came out, that just brought me back to that. And I know, the doctors any gynecologist will tell you, don't be douching. Don't be putting nothing up in your vagina.
But I've seen you post about that a lot though, about like, what were you doing before all this came about? Like everybody is steaming. Yeah, everybody is, using the pearls. Everybody is going, now everybody wants to get waxed bald and, You know, I have my own thoughts on that. A lot of people don't agree with me, but I just feel like if your man wants to see you completely bald, like that's kind of weird to me. That's like, you look like a little kid. So I'm thinking like, bro, what's up? But
What were
hey,
y'all watching growing up?
yeah, to each his
not
own. But and then it was also interesting to me when she was saying about getting her cervix to contract, about packing her cervix. Like that was different. You know, you are in a hospital and they're giving you Pitocin trying to get you to go into labor, when there's something that is a lot safer. So like she said, when her I think her grandmother came over here and they don't, you know, they want to push traditional medicine on you because it's a $1 trillion business. That's probably why we're having so much trouble with Black women now at the hospital, dying from childbirth, and it could be avoided.
And I think it's also, state too where you're at, because I remember when I was giving birth to my son, I had to give birth to him because he had passed away in utero, and I was in Texas, and they gave me, my cervix was not opening up, and when my cervix would not open up, the doctor went. It was a male. He was a white male doctor. He went and got seaweed. They got seaweed and put it inside me. It was a seaweed. They made it into like an insert, suppository, and he put that inside to help my cervix open up because they didn't want me to do. I had to deliver naturally because he had passed away in utero, so I couldn't get Pitocin. I couldn't get any type of pain medication because of the situation. But I remember him saying, I was like, seaweed, like you about to go down to the supermarket and get some seaweed. He's like, we have it here when he made a suppository. So, and I also think it's as far as what state you're in, also what region that you're in, where you'll find some of the Eastern medications and Eastern medicinal practices meeting the Western medicinal practices. Like my daughter's doctor, he is from India, and even though he's born and raised in good old Philly, he still relies on his dad and his heritage when it comes to certain things. Not a lot of things, but a certain things that they rely on. Sorry, my allergies, so my ear is itching. So I think that also plays a huge part also on your medical care when that happens. I hope she comes back on because I wanted to ask about I know there was a trend, there was not a trend, but on TikTok, like I said, you watch one thing on TikTok, all of a sudden it's in your feed. And this woman, she gave it was a doula actually. The doula, and the woman had given birth, and when every woman knows who's been pregnant, your body spreads, everything spreads. And then after she gave birth, they binded her body. They binded from the hips all the way up to under her breast, and it was really interesting and really unique. And seeing that, and then it was in the Mexican. I'm gonna just say, I'm not say culture, but there were a Mexican family, and she had just given birth. They had her in. They had all the herbs in the tub, and she was in the sitting over the tub. They had tons of blankets and cloths her wrapped around her, and they were pouring hot water in on top of the herbs so the steam would come up. And when the steam came up, of course, that was like her steaming because she just gave him birth, and the herbs in it would help her uterus contract. It would help, cleanse and help her all together. And then once she got finished, everyone was there making sure that the hot water didn't touch her, burn her. The husband was there. He lifted her out of the tub and laid her on the bed. And when he laid her on the bed, the male doula, I don't know what they call him, but I'm just saying he was a male doula. He came in and they had cinched her waist. There was a cloth that came around to the front of her, and he had it like a stick, the cloth wrapped around the stick, and they were twisting it to bring her hips in tighter, to bring her belly in. It was all the way up, and they said it doesn't hurt her, but her body just broke apart. They were explaining it, and they were saying it in their language, but when you were reading the translation, it said her body was just broken apart. And we've all given birth. It does feel like your body was broken apart, and
Feel
you
like
just,
it is broken
yeah.
apart.
And they kept twisting and twisting. They said it doesn't hurt her, but when she gets, when it was getting tight and uncomfortable, then they would stop because that's where it needed to be, and they would leave that on there for a couple hours and then do it again. And then they said they would do that every day for a week to help her body, one, heal faster, bring everything back together. Very relaxing, comforting. Is like a massage and stuff like that. So I wanted to ask her that too, because like we said, different cultures, different
And just
things.
about the food too, about making sure the soups and just the way we eat here is just horrible.
Do
And I
you
think
know?
at this point that it is, and you still do it. You still out there, eating and going to fast food restaurants. Like the food is basically what's killing us, and I guess we're addicted to it because I definitely was at McDonald's getting fries, knowing that I shouldn't have them. So, I
When
mean,
I
what you
went
gonna
to
do?
the first time I went and got a colonic, it was at this it was on 47th in Baltimore, and it was a house, an old Asian lady. It was Asian family period, but an old Asian lady. She was about 89. She came and she let me in, and she was explaining to me. They gave me warm tea. They gave me a hot towel massage, and then we went to the bathroom and they had the warm water bottle and inserted it and had a colonic. And she was complaining the whole time, complaining and farting the whole time. And she was complaining that you Americans always eat everything cold, 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 cold. You need warm. You need warm. You need warm tea. You need warm soup. You need warm food. Why y'all eat everything cold, 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 cold? And at the time, I was like, I want some soup. I don't like things cold. I don't, and I don't. I don't eat a lot of cold food. I don't eat sandwiches. I don't eat hoagies. Um, I don't eat. Yeah, I don't eat sandwiches or hoagies. For me, that's the cold food. I don't eat gazpacho, which is a cold soup. I cook every morning. I cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks in between, and I cook every single. Y'all see my videos. I cook every
Child,
single
I eat
day.
hoagies. I love a good hoagie. I love soup though.
Right, but
I
I'm
eat a
saying like
lot
I
of
don't. We
soup.
don't like. We don't even
I'm
eat lunch.
down with
Well,
that.
one time I bought the kids lunch meat, and they were like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, you want a sandwich?" It was like a sandwich.
Yeah, you got them bougie kids over there. They used to being spoiled. I
Yeah, but
mean,
she was.
Listen.
Yeah, but they. I mean, and the old lady, she complained. She said, "I'm 89." And she said, "Y'all eat everything cold. That's why your sister messed up. Look." And she had me look at when she was doing my colonic. She had me look at everything coming out, and I was like, "Yeah, yes." But isn't it? Is that cold or is it warm? Yes. But hey,
yeah. Well, I know I love soup, but I could definitely cut out the cold foods. But it's nothing like a good hoagie. You know what I mean?
I love a
But
sandwich. I couldn't cut those out. But I'm all for soup. I can eat a good soup.
you know
I
what my
didn't
mom
know
say to me all the
it
time,
affected us that bad.
and I say to people too, like if you had to cut it out, you would. Like if they told you, listen, if you
You
don't
gonna
stop
lose your
eating
muscle?
hoagie, yeah, like I mean, and it's some maybe not. I know some people they've been told that, and they just was like, "Look, you need to stop smoking, you need to stop drinking, you need to stop doing X, Y, and Z," and they just don't. So, um, well, maybe we could try to get her on another show to get her back on,
Yeah,
because it
I
was a
want to know
good
more about these V
conversation.
teams.
Yeah, make sure you check her out at magicvsteam.com. She could be found on social media at magicvsteam. So make sure you're supporting her. Make sure you're educated on steaming. Make sure you're doing it the right way. Make sure if you're interested in being a guest on the show that you hit us up at podcastmanager@bestiesandbiz.com. Make sure you're shopping Go Beautiful with 2 L's. And make sure you're shopping It's Complicated.com for your apparel. If you want to stand out from the rest and you don't want to blend in with the crowd, check us out at bestiesbusiness.org, where you can find out about our networking group, about our events that we're putting on. You can also see the services that we offer. And you can check out our merch at bestiesmerch.com. And as always, we like to talk about what we're working on through our nonprofit. We're partnering with Go Beautiful to, create an employment agency for youth with disabilities. So we'll let Crystal talk about that, and then we will see you guys next time.
IDEA is the name of the game. Is Intellectual Disability Employment Education Agency. Well, let me not say we all. For those new tuning in, my son is autistic, nonverbal autistic. And when I look at him, I want him to have quality of life. I want him to be employed. He is very intelligent. And I know there are other moms out there who have children who have autism or who have an intellectual disability. And when they are working, I see them thriving. And when I see other individuals in our community who have an intellectual disability, they do not use them to their full potential. You will see them getting the grocery carts from the parking lot. They will be welcoming you to Walmart. They will be, not really engaged in the workplace. And I want better. I want better for not only my son, I want better for all of our sons, all of our daughters. And the idea is to, and see, I said idea again, to partner with not only our community businesses, but also larger corporations to have them come in and train our individuals on whatever position they have open at their business, and also to educate them on being in the workforce. So if you have a connection, if you have a desire, the need to please donate so we can get this employment agency open. Also connect us to individuals in your hometown or connect us with them so we can partner and build this thing up. So
Yep. So you can donate on our website, bestiesbusiness.org. There's a PayPal link there. We are a 501(c) nonprofit. And we're just here for the community. Everything we do is community based. And hopefully we'll see you at our event in June. We'll be putting out information for that soon. Have a good evening. Bye.
okay.